This is like nothing I've ever seen before. Oh my god. I wanted to scream, I wanted to cry, but at that moment I knew that it was too late. There was nothing else we could do. I guess I've always felt this special connection towards nature. I was fortunate enough to grow up next to a forest, and even as a child, I would spend most of my days exploring the wilderness. During the evenings, however, our whole family would sit in front of the television, where Sir David Attenborough himself would introduce us to exotic animals and distant lands. Yet, I think that the realization that I was finally in such a place myself arrived when we crossed the border to Uganda. Nice and easy border, like 10 minutes we got stamped out of Rwanda into Uganda.
This is your welcome to Uganda. Right now, you are gonna go to some of our roads are so bad. So you are going to enjoy
African massage.
Massage, yes.
African massage, I was waiting for these words.
With this little warning, began our journey towards one of the most unique forests on our planet. We passed through small villages and grabbed bites to eat from the side of the road. Corn is without a doubt the most common snack around here. All the fields are full of it, and yeah, from the side of the road you can just buy cobs. I thought it was gonna be juicier.
It's almost like popcorn.
And well, just as our guide Bernard had promised, it did not take long for the paved roads to end. So what you saw over there is called an African helicopter. If something goes wrong deep in the forest, then 4 to 8 guys just come with a chair that's on like a metal frame like this, and you will be carried out of the woods. Whenever we would pass through more wild areas, there would be herds of baboons on the side of the road. And other primates climbing the nearby trees. Ah, so beautiful. There's a whole group of white Columbus monkeys. Yet don't get me wrong, in no way did the lack of proper roads mean the absence of life here in Uganda. The group of boys, they had like 3 or 4 wooden bikes and just riding down this extremely bumpy road. We passed through many settlements where people live traditional lives. And although these villages don't have many of the comforts that in the rest of the world are taken for granted, then to our surprise, the people here didn't seem to mind. They made do with what they had. And most of them seemed truly happy.
They were moving Mother Mary.
The bumpy ride lasted for hours. And as we got closer to our destination, there was one more surprise waiting. We found a crested crane on our way to the national park. Such a beautiful, beautiful bird. This animal is also depicted on Ugandan flag. And to us, it felt like the last chance to test our new camera gear that we had specially bought for this adventure. We finished our day with another hour of the so-called African massage. And then, just before sunset, made it to our final camp. This over there is the line where the national park begins. I didn't expect it to be so obvious. It's like my hairline. This place was stunning.
I'm sorry that you have to carry the bag. It's very
It's
heavy.
horrible.
I know, it's very heavy.
But still we went to bed early, because after a full day of violent shaking, proper sleep was the only thing that we wanted.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning. And it might as well be the most exciting day of our lives. Yeah, we better get a move on.
We packed our bags in a hurry, and after a quick breakfast, it was time to get going.
Without exaggeration, I've been dreaming about this moment for as long as I can remember. Since I was 5 years old, I've been thinking about doing this.
Let's go.
Yes.
As the sun started to rise, we arrived in the national park headquarters, and here we were greeted by a group of indigenous people who have lived in this forest for a millennia. They welcomed us with traditional songs and dances that talked about gorillas and were supposed to bring luck for our journey ahead.
We are actually on the far side of between the impenetrable forest. So Congo border is literally like 5 kilometers away from us. And yeah, most tour groups, they don't want to drive on this side because it's like 2 hours of African massage. But there's more gorilla families and way less visitors.
After the final health and safety briefing, it was hard to contain our excitement.
Calm before the storm. Last moments, everybody's gathering, finding their groups. And so it begins. We're heading into the thick of it. This is the last barrier. Tea bushes that separate gorillas from delicious bananas. You see, gorillas absolutely hate the taste of tea and coffee. So things with caffeine in it, they are a very good natural barrier of the national park. You might have noticed that behind me there's a guy with a big gun. His name is Moses, and he's here because of the forest elephants. There are wild elephants running around on those mountains, and they are not habituated, so that means they are not used to humans, which in turn means that when they're in a bad mood, things can go sour.
With every step forward, the forest grew thicker.
At times the sun just barely shines through the canopy and it's super beautiful. I'm absolutely loving the atmosphere, the sounds, the sights around you. And I'm starting to realize that it's called the impenetrable forest. Not because there would be so much, well, there's also a lot of vegetation, Liisu almost fell. But because it's always up and down, like it's deep mountains, deep valleys. It's a sort of rainforest we've never seen before. Truly gorgeous.
For a little more than an hour, we pushed through the bushes, crossed rivers, and climbed mountains. Until suddenly,
Our guide was just communicating with someone. They did short yells. I think we're getting closer.
on the trail, there was 4 trackers waiting for us. And the message we got was clear.
So from this point, you're going to drink enough water that you will do for 1 hour. While with the gorillas, not drinking, eating, or smoking.
For the safety of the gorillas, we put on the masks. And just as the hour that we had with them was about to begin, something unthinkable happened.
Wait, we're not ready. We're not ready.
What is happening?
What the hell? Why is it not working? Nothing is working.
You're ready for the trackers?
No, not yet.
Yes, This here was something that every videographer and YouTuber is afraid of. A true nightmare. We had paid nearly $2,000 to be here and capture those animals on film. But
Our camera, big camera, just stopped working.
it was most probably the African massage that had broken something inside our equipment.
In the worst time possible.
And I simply wanted to scream.
I wanna cry.
I wanted to give up, but at this time, I knew that it was too late. We quickly fell into panic.
No, tema küsis sulle.
Did everything we could to fix the situation,
The buttons are not working.
and even tried to ask help from every other person with a camera.
Don't miss it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Check.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you for your help. It's okay.
It is what it
It's
is.
supposed to always work, right?
Yet all this was for nothing. And once about 25% of the time that we had with the gorillas had disappeared, we at last realized something.
We'll just cut our losses, man. You do you. It's an amazing situation here.
Yeah. I think we're just gonna have to deal with the disappointment.
It's still one of the most beautiful moments of our lives. So let's take 10 minutes. Forget about the fact that our camera gear malfunctioned. And let's just enjoy it. Yeah.
We decided to capture this moment with our phone. And with this little shift in our mentality, everything suddenly changed. As we closed in on the gorillas, a male from a different group tried to approach the females, and things quickly escalated. The forest filled with sounds.
There is a mom scaring away a young blackback, taking care of her baby, making sure that the teenager doesn't hurt the little ones.
But when the curious blackback came again, the whole atmosphere changed. The silverback quickly climbed down from the tree and pretty much charged the youngster.
The silverback just took one look at this blackback who's going there, and he's retreating.
The air was thick with tension.
My God, just one pull on a big deep tree trunk and it cracked. The blackback is hiding here behind me now, trying to stay away from the silverback's way. He's like a giant policeman who wanted to take a little bit of rest. And when funny business started happening here down in the foliage, then he had to climb down and put the house in order again.
When the danger was dealt with, the leading silverback literally put his legs up. And the calmness took over the whole group. Like flies on a wall, we got to observe their behavior.
It's a strange feeling, looking them use their hands, grab, communicate, move around.
Mothers were nursing their babies. Youngsters played amongst themselves.
The baby just fell out of a tree.
And those who had finished eating simply enjoyed each other's company.
And day after day, they keep on maintaining and building such family relations, cleaning each other, helping each other.
Each and every one had their own personality. Some were curious, some more timid.
You know that as humans we have this tendency to search for similarities in other animals, but here you can really feel it, like the family relations, the communication. It's uncanny. 7 million years ago, we had a common ancestor. And from that point we moved in opposite directions.
Time passed quickly while sitting in a green undergrowth. And honestly, it was nearly impossible to hold back the emotions.
This is like nothing I've ever seen before. Oh my God.
It was almost hard to tell if everything happening around us was actually real.
I want to cry, partly because of happiness, partly sadness.
When the hour with the gorillas was almost done, the silverback again rose from the ground, and almost as a sign of trusting us with his family, he once again decided to climb onto his favorite tree.
He stayed on the ground, and when there was no more threat and danger, he just went back on top of his favorite tree.
As we left the group behind, our minds were still racing.
I think we're just gonna have to deal with the disappointment. It's hard. But on the other hand, we have to take in what we saw and the gorillas that we saw and the experience that we had, even though we have no proper videos and pictures of it.
We said our farewells.
Say goodbye to gorillas.
Bye-bye, gorillas. Goodbye, gorillas.
It took many hours to slowly process everything that had happened with us in this one short hour. Yet as we again arrived in a hotel, things finally felt clear.
It's now been a few hours after we left with the gorillas, and it actually has been an amazing day. Despite everything and because of everything.
It came as a total surprise, but it just didn't work. None of the buttons worked. It was probably the African massage, the roads.
I remember one point when we were there and I was thinking, okay, but maybe we should just cut our losses because we're healthy, we're both okay, we're here, the gorillas are here. And I started to think how many moments in our lives we let ruin because those tiny details which we think are super important, but actually they don't matter.
Someone close to me once said that life is 10% things happening to you and 90% how you react to them.
Who cares that the camera doesn't work? Who cares that the detail in your proposal was a little bit off? Who cares if you messed up in your work presentation? Like, we shouldn't let these small details overrun our everyday lives and ruin very big moments. Because today actually was a very big moment. We've been dreaming about this, both of us, for a very, very long time.
We were actually able to enjoy this moment. I never expected to see something like this. Two groups of gorillas, the interactions, the similarities to us. It was true magic.
So there it is. All of our lives are full of unexpected situations that we simply cannot control. But the thing to remember, even in those hardest moments, is that the one thing that we get to choose is our own reaction. Friends, thank you for watching, and bye.